Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about combining two different precons. We're going to be taking the Peace Offering precon and the Deep Clue Sea precon, and we're going to be combining them together to essentially form a big precon built around card draw. Now, I'm going to be using Mr. Foxglove as the commander here because I think that he's the most fun commander out of all of them for card draw, but nearly every single one of the different kind of Bant commanders within these precons could potentially be used. Now, why am I talking about this? First of all, I've done a video in the past where I talked about it previously and then people were asking about it and stuff, so I wanted to kind of, touch back on it. I am only using cards from either of these two precons. So first of all, the Peace Offering precon, this one here had a lot of kind of card draw, kind of payoffs and stuff, as well as some stuff that was more built around kind of just card draw altogether. With Miss Bumbleflower as the commander, it wasn't so much, but if you switch over to Foxglove, then card draw becomes kind of this more important kind of almost a separate kind of win con there, compared to the actual kind of base deck that's Peace Offering. So we've got a fair few kind of different things in here that are going to be helpful when we do draw cards, as well as ways of being able to make us elves draw cards and make other people draw cards. I am primarily kind of focusing around us drawing cards. I don't necessarily want other people to be drawing cards because this isn't a group hug deck. This is just draw big cards and then play big stuff. The other one was the Deep Clue Sea precon. So this one was with Carl of Mana, and it was kind of card draw and card draw payoffs mixed in with some investigate stuff. So we've got some clue based stuff in here. So I've got a kind of combination between the two of kind of tokeny stuff, card draw, and then kind of card draw payoffs between them, as well as we're going to be using Foxglove because he's going to allow us to be able to cheat some big stuff in. So Mr. Foxglove is the man who's trying to get with Bumbleflower, which is so he has lifelink. Whenever he attacks, you draw cards equal to the number of cards in defending player's hand minus the number that is in your hand if you draw no cards. So therefore, if your hand is either equal to or greater in size than your opponent's hand, instead you will take a creature card from your hand and put it onto the battlefield. So we can get some awesome kind of synergies between like just drawing more cards with this, as well as the fact that when we draw more cards, where they're going to have more kind of options to be able to put stuff out onto the field, which is really cool. So having a look at the cards that I kind of looked at, I used the basis of the Peace Offering deck, mostly because one, I love the kind of mana base with it, and two, it was just kind of, we ended up taking a lot from both of them, but I just kind of used this to start off with, and then I removed a whole bunch of the group huggy stuff, removed anything that was drawing cards from multiple people mostly as well, and kind of switched over to having more kind of payoffs for the draw. So in the artifacts, the only one I've added in here was the Idol of Oblivion. I have cut a couple of the other artifacts that were mostly kind of group huggy ones there. We've got for the creatures, I've added the Hydroid Krasis and Lonus. Both are going to be great for one, drawing cards, and two, whenever something enters, investigate, which is really great. Detective in the Month, another payoff for drawing cards, creating as tokens. So more token stuff is going to be great because not only have I moved some of the token stuff that was in Deep Clue Sea, so like Adrix and Nev, Tireless Tracker, I also moved over the Essex Fractal Bloom, so that way when the first time we create tokens during each of our turns, we can instead choose a creature other than Essex and create that many tokens of that creature. So we can create tokens of, Sphinx of Enlightenment, or 20-toed Toad, or, Merchant of Truth, or whatever we want. So that way we can get doubling up a whole bunch of our kind of triggers, not off of our legendaries, because they do still have the legendary rule and stuff. It doesn't remove legendary rule, unfortunately, but we can double up like a Psychosis Crawler, for example. So that way each time we're drawing cards, we're drawing, we're dealing like 3-4 damage each time we draw one card. There's just a whole bunch of great stuff we can do from that. you know, just kind of moving over, as I said, a lot of the token stuff and the kind of single card draw stuff. As for the enchantments, this is where we kind of really pulled a fair bit from the Deep Clue Sea. So on the trail, whenever you draw your second card per turn, put a land out. That's insanely great. Each time one of our creatures deals combat damage, we investigate. Because we can generate a lot of kind of token creatures, we can get this off pretty easily. I've kept in like Simic Ascension as well, because Simic Ascendancy as well. Ascendancy. Wow, I can't pronounce that word today. Because it's just an alternate win con that I thought was really great in here. As well as, you know, Triskaphile and 20-Toed Toad as 2 other win cons as well for a card draw. We've got Search Supremacist, so that way anytime we get attacked, we get to investigate, and that means, you know, more card draw from there as well. And then Teferi's Ageless Insight to be able to draw more cards too. And Knowledge's Power is really, really, really great in this deck, because it's going to buff up all our creatures based off our number of cards we draw. So if we draw, like, say for example, we draw 5 cards on our turn, which isn't that far out there with this deck, we're going to give every one of our creatures +5/+5. Really great. Disorder in the Court is going to, 1, be able to protect our creatures, as well as then also bring in some Investigate to create more treasure tokens to be able to then, you know, create more card draw, etc. Just some really great stuff from there. And as I said, I kept the land base basically the same as the base precon. The base which one is it? The Peace Offering Precon, except I did remove, I think it was 1 forest, because I think 37 lands is enough, especially when we've got like On the Trail, for example, and we're just getting so much card draw that it doesn't matter as much if you don't draw as many lands. In fact, you could potentially go down to like 36 lands here. I also added in Tezzeret, the Betrayer of Flesh, so that way it's easier for us to be able to use all these clues, because it's essentially a free clue each turn. Finale of Revelation as well as a huge kind of win con here, because it's just boom, we're going to untap 5 lands, we're going to draw a whole bunch of cards, boo, and then, you know, no maximum hand size for the rest of the game as well. The other thing that could go really well into this deck is, 1, some bigger creatures. Like, bigger creatures to be able to kind of cheat out would be good. I've just, again, used the precons from the base deck, so we can't really kind of go too hard into that. And then also, like the Jace that like wins the game if your deck's empty, or the other one card that I can't remember off the top of my head that wins when your deck's empty, because you are going to draw so many cards with this that it's just going to be bonkers. Ways to also be able to pop more clues for stuff would be good, like Tamio's Journal as well would be great in this. Tamio's Journal will allow us to be able to tutor something up by sacrificing our clues. It's just at the beginning of upkeep, investigate, and then tap, sack 3 clues, search your library for a card, and put it into your hand. Really, really great way for us to be able to add a tutor into this deck if we wanted to. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys had a great day. And yeah, Mr. Foxglove could be a really cool commander in this deck. And it is just combining, you know, the 2 precons. I hope you guys had a great day, and goodbye.